I'm pleased to welcome Stefan Vogel to SCHUMANN Insights today. Stefan is Managing Director of CFG Finance and a specialist in trade and receivables finance solutions. He previously held senior positions at HSBC, Trinkaus and Burkhardt, Lloyds Banking, ABN AMRO Commercial Finance and Eurofactor. There are numerous ways to digitize factoring. Banks and financial institutions increasingly rely on integrated IT solutions that enable a digital end-to-end process and for purchase decisions for receivables. Today we talk about the opportunities that result from digitalization and show ways to implement them. Stefan, how does factoring look like in the light of digitalization?
Firstly, thanks for the introduction and thanks for being here. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a quite interesting topic to discuss on. And to be honest, the first and key answer on that, what you ask me, is very easy to say. There's still room for improvement. So, and digitization, there is. I would say there's much more potential than just changing paper into upload of some data. So it's still very, very cost-driven, resource-driven. So it's often an internal topic. So the question is, are they more focused on internal cost and resource discussion than on real digitization? So I would say it's still a bit more automated or automation than digitization. And I think that's something you still have to discuss on. It's not the way how to manage process, whatever, to be in a real digitization. It's still automation, what we're discussing on.
What do you see as the current challenges to overcome?
Yeah, I think the current challenges, are, as said before, is cost and resources. That's one of the key topics. You have to overcome and get commitments from internal stakeholders. I think that's still a challenge to overcome. And to be honest, on an IT view, I would say it's the data structure you have in your companies. You're still running, let's say, possibly data structures like 10 years ago. You've got processes like 10 years ago because it works. That's okay. You can run your business. That's fine. The data suits to that what you need in your ERP system, but it's not scalable. And I think that's the topic you have to discuss on. You don't have to just go on cost and resource. You also have to go on what is the structure of my data? How is my portfolio running? And should I possibly rethink and redesign my processes and all my data into that? And that's a challenge definitely to overcome. And coming back to what I've said before is cost and resource. Resource is something what I've seen in my whole life in all these positions when we did that at HSBC, Lloyds Banking, whatever. So it's always a topic that people are doing that beside your normal business. It's not a way of taking, let's say, professionals from the market with a key market overview, with ideas what happens on the market, with best cases and best opportunities, and really how to run a project. That's the first point. Are we project managers within the banks or brokers? No, we are not. But we try to do that. So I would prefer to say the challenge is manage your resource, get external staff and external professionals, and then run the business as it should be. And of course, on top of that, you've got regulatory topics to overcome, all that stuff. The key topics is, I would say, is cost and resources, the internal stakeholders, and to see that you have to change your mindset. I think that's something which is key on that. And don't start doing some automations, start digitization, start changing and rethink of your processes and redesign your processes. That's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Talking about competitive positions, so how can digitalization strengthen the competitive position of a factoring company? What would you see?
What I see with my clients, and clients is on our side, what we're going to do is we have clients on corporates and we have clients as factoring companies. So that's really quite interesting to see how they interact to each other. So, and what a corporate is asking for and what the factoring company, for example, is delivering. And I would say the digitization would speed up the, let's say, the whole process of onboarding and the whole process of then at the end of funds out for the clients. And I think speed of funds out, speeds of onboarding is one of the key topics you can manage with digitization of that. On top of that, you have the topic of size. A factoring company might be limited in a way that how huge can a deal be if the limits are limited by their own balance sheet or whatever. So if they're going to have that, if they have digitized their business, they don't have to respect the size, because then they have the opportunity to easily sell down, distribute, do club deals, whatever, and not on a manual basis, on an automated basis. And that's what comes up in the future. I would say that you have to go for club deals if you want to play the big tickets and if you want to scale up your business. I think that's quite important. You've got regulation topics, of course, which is a kind of reporting. If you easily say what is regulation, then it's massive reportings. If you have digitized your business, you've got an easy way on that. You might reduce your staffing, your FTEs on that. That's an opportunity. And of course, you have the, let's say, risk mitigation, which comes up with that. When your system gives you lots of information on a daily basis, or maybe an hourly basis, whatever. So it might enhance your risk view on your portfolio and decrease your risk and your potential losses. It might come up on a client as well on the buyer side. And don't forget, it's enhanced customer experience. Of course, normally you should have that on your first topic to say customer experience. Is that what we are looking for? Because then you have an increased retention rate on your client base. It's easier to deliver good service to your client and retain your clients instead of looking for new clients. And it's a bit of an environmental footprint, of course, because reduction of paperwork, reduction of paper at all might enhance also your environmental footprint on that.
Yeah, which digital core functions are essential for factoring companies to scale the business?
Yeah, first reaction as often is front end. A nice, quite interesting, good-looking front end with a nice layout, good functionalities, reports, all that stuff. That's something a client is looking for, of course. So because they don't want to act by sending out emails, waiting for a response, or getting a telephone call, whatever. They want to do everything online. So that means the front end, of course, is quite important. But honestly, that's what I think is the, in a view of a factoring company, is the way of managing buyer limits and onboarding of clients, these two topics. So if you have the digitized onboarding of a client, that's of course customer experience. That's of course something which gives you the opportunity to scale up your business, because that's what is a long-lasting procedure at the moment. You've got all these KYC requirements and onboarding stuff. I don't have to tell you what there's still on a paper-based work, on a manual work, what factoring companies are doing. So that's a huge topic. And the other one is the buyer limit, the credit limit, because that also scale up your business. If you got in, let's say, interfaces, automated buyer limits, interfaces and links to TCI providers, that increases that. And that comes up to speed up your decisions, speed up the buyer limit decision. The client don't want to wait for 1 or 2 or 3 days on a feedback on a credit limit on a new buyer. So, and we are not talking as years ago on if you got a same day decision. We are sometimes talking about if you got let's say, a decision within 1 or 2 hours, or even less, depending on a granular portfolio. And then we are talking about digital decisioning, which we're going to see massively coming up on the market, especially on granular portfolios. We need to have a digital decisioning. But what does that mean? That means a full digitized procedure and process, links to TCI providers, as well as the opportunity to offer your client a kind of, let's say, decisions by payment histories, and payment histories based on possibly client's own portfolio, as well as your, as a factoring company, own portfolio. And only with that opportunities, you have the opportunity to scale your business. And that's what we have to look for. And nothing of that can be done manually, to be honest.
So what outlook could you give on the expected future connectivity between the business partners? So you raised that topic already, but maybe to summarize, what's your future view connecting all the business partners?
What I see in the future market is a kind of one-stop shop solution. It's one platform. It couldn't be that each and every let's say factoring company, TCI provider, business partner, information system provider, whatever, has its own platform or their own IT infrastructure. There needs to be one platform with an access for each and every TCI provider, factoring company, information servicer, and all these guys. Because only then you've got let's say, collaboration between all these companies. And this need to be international, that need to be different legal environments, that need to cover each and every opportunity you might set up. If it is funding, if it is reinsurance, credit insurance, whatever, that's what clients looking for. They want to have an easy access to one platform, fitting all needs of their business, and with a link to each and every provider of credit insurance, factoring, whatever. So at the end, it's connectivity, what the outlook is, and that's what we have to look for to get an enhanced customer experience and to give factoring companies a real opportunity to scale up business.
Yeah, so to summarize, what are the key takeaways?
Yeah, the key takeaway is from my point of view is still digitalization is not automation. So that's one of the topics. So you have to change your mindset if you try to increase your customer experience, if you try to scale up your business, you have to change your mindset. And the mindset is not changing paper into an upload of a data or whatever. So you have to rethink all your processes. And all that comes up at the end in from my point of view, enhanced customer experience, a decrease of risk of losses because you have a much better overview on what's going on in your portfolios and your clients. So you have more data-driven insights in your business. You've got, let's say, another view on what's going on in the market. And at the end, that comes up with a structured risk mitigation, with a speed on funding and all that stuff. What we mentioned before is at the end it's the enhanced customer experience which runs your business and then scales up your business with all these connectivities. And at the end, for sure, you might have a stronger relationship with your clients, and so you have got a higher retention rate, and you increase, let's say, your profit and the only by new processes and new digitization of your business. That's what comes up at the end.
Stefan, thank you very much for your insightful comments and thoughts.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Robert.